Hey everybody, it's Greg LaBeouf, and listen, welcome to another episode of Awaken to Protect Our Within. And today I want to talk about a mistake that I see so many people make, and they make this mistake again and again and again and again and again. Repetition is a sign of weakness. So the big question was this: what do good people do when a society's laws and institutions fail to keep them safe from aggression and violence? How do you get through a growing number of angry, hateful, aggressive people and still remain physically, mentally, and emotionally strong and positive? That was the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Greg LaBeouf, and welcome to Awaken the Protector Within. Okay, so that I said that repetition is a sign of weakness. I see people make this mistake again and again and again and again. They repeatedly make this mistake. Now, what do I mean that repetition is a sign of weakness? I want you to understand something. See, whether you are aware of it or not, we all are using a system when it comes to dealing with aggression or violence. Now, here's the thing. You're going to be able to pull from what I share with you today. You're going to see where we use repetition in every aspect of our life, and it weakens us in every aspect of our life. But for simplicity, for clarity, let's keep this connected to just violence and aggression. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's using a system. Unless you've been taught something different, you're going to use a system, and your system often looks like this, and it is flawed. But here's the thing. If somebody's bullying you, a kid, someone's bullying your child, someone's harassing you at work, you're driving home, you get caught in a road rage, and some guy gets out and he's yelling and screaming and flipping you off, he's got a tire iron in his hand. I don't care what the situation is, low level to high level, what's going to happen is 99% of the time there's some sort of communication, there's some sort of verbal discourse, there's some sort of escalation or buildup prior to everything busting out, getting engaged, and going physical. Prior to where that guy swings the tire iron at your head. Prior to when the school bully grabs you by the throat and throws you to the ground and punches you 3-4 times. There is buildup in that. So there is a moment when there's a chance or an opportunity for this verbal discourse, or there's an opportunity for you to tell that person to stop. Now, we've talked about this before. You've heard me say it. No is a complete sentence, right? Stop for young kids. Teach your young kids stop. When they say stop, you should respect that. It is a complete sentence. But here's the thing. What's the reality of this? If I have some guy that's pissed off and he's coming towards me and he's aggressive or he's violent, or my daughter does, or any of your kids do, anybody does, and we tell them, say, listen, you need to stop where you're at. Don't take another step towards me. You need to back up a little bit. You need to get out of my way and let me leave. Now, there was my no. I even gave him more than just saying a simple no. I gave him a reason why. You need to back up and let me out of here. I don't want any problems. I don't have any issues with you, and you need to stop where you're at. You need to move out of the way and let me go. That's my no. So the first thing that we do, and the first step that most people use in their system, is they tell somebody something. They tell them no. They tell them, I don't want this. I don't like this. That's a good step, right? We think, well, that just completely makes sense. But here's the thing now. Here's where we make the error. Well, actually, let me actually be really clear. Most people are really vague in their tell. Most people are wishy-washy in their tell. Most people are like what we call a beta command versus an alpha command. An alpha command has certainty. You need to stop where you're at. You need to back up. You need to stay where you're at. You need to get out of my way. This needs to stop now. That's an alpha command because it's clear, it's simple, and there's no wiggle room. Remember, you're not asking people. And that's okay. Remember, there's a difference. Asking implies choice. If I asked you if you'd like the steak or you'd like the salad, I'm asking you. You have a choice. Make a decision. When it comes to bullying, aggression, and violence, I am not asking you if you would mind not harassing me or mind not hitting me with that tire iron or mind not bullying my child, whatever it is. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what's going to happen here. And that's okay. There is a difference between telling somebody and commanding somebody. Now, sometimes if it's imminent danger, a command is warranted. But there's actually a way of telling people with 100% conviction and certainty that doesn't create or increase escalation. And if you've taken my tactical communication course, you know what that is. If you haven't, listen for future podcasts and I'll cover it for you. But what we're on today is the first thing we've done is I've told this person, you need to stop where you're at. Now, here's where it gets funny, and here's where people make the mistake. If you have conviction on your tell and that person takes another step towards you, what do? Well, most people, they repeat. Most people say, hey, listen, oh man, listen, I told you, you need to stay where you're at. Don't take another step towards me. You need to stand where you're at, man. Stay back from me. And they're doing that while they're backing up. Now, you backing up is a pretty good idea, but what you've done is you've made a massive mistake. When you told this person one time how you told them, if you told them with conviction, that was a complete sentence. Now what I want you to do at this moment, what you need to do is you need to listen and watch and see what he says to you. And he's going to say it through his words, so you're going to hear it, or he's going to say it through his behavior and his actions. And when he takes another step towards you, I want you to understand in that moment, he is testing your level of conviction. And so at that moment, when you repeat yourself, you have just taught them that you either A, have no idea what the consequence will be, you have no belief in it, you have no conviction about it, you don't believe you're powerful enough to act on it, you have just taught them that there is no consequence. So listen, you need to stop right there. You need to stay back. You need to get them away and let me out of here. And they take a step forward. Hey, listen, man, I told you to stay where you're at. I told you to step back. I'm asking you, I told you to get out of my way. I've just repeated myself. Whether they're aware of this or not in their mind, their mind is going, no, why would I? Why? And often, you know how this is true? Because you've probably experienced this. You say something to somebody that is a complete sentence. You say it with conviction. You get a no. Through behavior or through words, they say no, they come again. So you repeat yourself. And guess what they inevitably say? Why? What are you going to do about it? See, right there, just showing you what, when you repeat yourself, you have just taught them that there is no consequence. You've drawn a line in the sand, and you either don't know what the consequence is or should be, or you don't believe that you can actually carry out that action. So what most people do now is they've told somebody, then they repeat themselves. And then the person still, why? What are you going to do about it? They still step forward towards you. And then you know what? It works so well the first two times. Guess what people do? They repeat themselves again. I've seen people in situations repeat themselves 4 or 5 times. As a matter of fact, I've seen this so often from people that we often say, when we see this in scenarios in our training, to say, oh, look at this person. Look at them. They are literally benefiting of the doubting themselves to death. You get what I mean? See, if I'm sitting there going, hey, listen, you need to get out of my way and let me out of here. And the person steps forward or continues to block. Hey, listen, I've told you once, get out of the way. Stay where you're at. You need to stay where you're at. Hey, listen, back up, stay where you're at. I've told you. Hey, man, I'm not going to tell you again. I've repeated myself 3, 4, 5 times. What's going on in my mind is my mind is racing, and I am literally continuously giving this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm going, you know what? Maybe they just didn't hear me the first time, or maybe they think I'm kidding. So maybe they don't understand. So if I'm saying it to them 4 or 5 times, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to get it. They're not, what are they going to do? Hit me? What are they going to do? Really? Are they really going to use the tire iron? No. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt. You will literally, I've seen people do this in scenarios, benefit of the doubt themselves to the point that it's far too late. So the process most people use, where they're not even aware of it, is they tell, then they repeat, sometimes they repeat a lot more, but always they're caught in this next step, which is hesitation. They tell, they repeat, and then they hesitate. Why do they hesitate? For all the reasons I just stated. They're either unclear of what they should do, unclear of what they could do, unclear of what they want to do, or unclear if they can do what they should do and what they know to do and what they want to do. They're caught in hesitation. Hesitation is doubt. And in a moment when you're dealing with violence and aggression, matter of fact, when you're dealing with anything in life, doubt kills. Doubt destroys. Doubt leads to pain and suffering. See, what's the final step? Because it's in there, whether people are using this system and they're aware of it, but this system is flawed. You tell, repeat, hesitate. But this next part, and it is the most powerful part, it's the secret sauce here. It's in there, but it's not being used right. And it's action. You tell, you repeat, you hesitate, and then you take an action. And unfortunately, the action that most people take when they've gone through this repeat, hesitate cycle is they do nothing. Or they give the benefit of the doubt and they wait until it's too late. They don't have actionable knowledge, actionable actions, actionable power. They don't have power. You see, if you want to empower your kids, if you want to empower yourself in any aspect of life, but especially when it comes to aggression and violence, action is everything. But here's the thing. If I asked you right now to write down what your actions are, I do this all the time. People write down, what are your actions? What do you mean, what are my actions? What are your actions when it comes to violence and aggression? What are your actions when it comes to dealing with bullies? My daughters know what are your actions when it comes to dealing with bullies. And now you might say, well, my daughters know too. They can, or my son knows too. They tell the teacher, they tell a supervisor. Perfect, great. That is an action to tell an adult. Perfect, that's one. What's number two? To tell you, great, perfect, boom, number two. What's another action you can do? Tell the person to stop, great, boom, fire that down. Tell them to stop, ask them to stop. Do you know a proper way to do that? Do you know how to do what's called a tactical request with a reason? Because let's make sure that if you know that is one of your actions, that is one of your powers, let's make sure that you actually know how to do it properly. You actually have a tactical way to do it. Tactic doesn't mean military or law enforcement. It means a proven strategy, a proven way to do something. So give them tactics. Say, listen, I'm going to give you a strategy that works. How do we know it works? Because it's used in every different type of industry, all over the world. It works against different languages and different cultures and different religions. It works at different ages. It works. It's a strategy. It's proven. So boom, there's 3 actions that they have. What's another action? I don't know. Okay, well, you could, depending on the age of the child, you call 911, right? Call the police. Do you know the local, or in your neighborhood, do you know the information line for police? Do you know that, obviously 911, but do you know the not 911 line? Do you know this? Do you know, you start going through and you start building for them an actionable list. I call them their action assets. Managing proximity. Okay? Bridging. Bridging is a concept of moving to secondary, bigger, deeper actions. We actually have 8 action assets that we teach people in a system. Why do you want a system? You want a system because when you're under pressure and you're scared, you need a system to go to. But there's only 8 actions that you could take. These 8 actions can solve any problem when it comes to violence and aggression. And you learn to build them in what we call a response chain. You see, I empower kids and I empower adults, and we empower soldiers and law enforcement, military, the same way we empower first responders, by giving them action assets, by teaching them how to read a situation and then actually build a response chain to take actions. What are the actions? When you give people actions and say, here's the things you can do, I want you to be empowered with these. You can make a decision, read the situation, see it for what it is, make a decision, and take the actions. And guess what? Now you can tell somebody with 100% conviction. And you never have to repeat yourself. Because when that person, see, here's my thing. If I tell somebody something, I watch and I listen to their response. And then here's the shocker, here's the big thing. I believe them. If I tell somebody, if there's a threat to somebody, say, listen, you need to stay back. Stop walking towards me. Do not take another step towards me. And that person takes a step towards me. I see it. I hear it. If they say, whatever, screw you. And I believe them. I don't go, well, you must be, maybe you didn't hear me. Or I see you take a step towards me when I asked you not to. But I'm going to discount that. And we're just going to say that was miscommunication. I see them. I'm going to believe what they're saying to me. I'm saying, oh, I've told you to do that. It was a complete sentence. And now you've taken a step forward. So you have just shown me. You've just answered my question. Can you be negotiated with? Will you listen to reason? Will you respect me and listen to my wishes? They've just said no. So I'm going to move to step 2. And my step 2 is to create a this or that future. Now you might ask, how do you do that? Well, I'm not going into that in this podcast. You can check out my communication course if you want and learn it that way, because I want giving you a partial is going to do more damage than you actually investing and figuring out the whole solution. But we move to step 2. I do not repeat myself. I move to step 2. I paint to this or that future. And if I get another no, I move to step 3. And step 3 is I confirm so that there is no misunderstanding. To protect myself legally, to protect myself morally, I confirm. I get them to sign a verbal or basically a physical confession that where there is no gray area that these people were, that words and actions were not going to work to stop them from what was coming. And then the 4th step of a good procedure for how you do violence and aggression is action. And what are my actions? My actions come from my action assets. Things that I already have known. I have a system. I know exactly what I am empowered to do. Legally, morally, everything is laid out for me. And then I go into that action without hesitation, without self-doubt. And that is what gives you the result. Now, here's the thing. I can tell somebody, and they can say no in such a strong, powerful way with their physical actions or with their verbal mouth, with their words, that I go straight to action. And I can make that decision. And you can make that decision. And our kids can make that decision. Why? Because they will learn to take people at their word, to look. We call it reading aggression right. You will see when you tell somebody a complete sentence, anything that follows that sentence that is not compliance with what you have told them is a no. And when you see it for what it is, you can be decisive and you can go into action at any point you need to. That is how we empower. You see, with all of this too, the outcome now is inconsequential to me, to a degree, because I can't control what the other person's going to do. I don't want them to attack me. I don't want my child to be bullied. I don't want my child to be attacked. But at the end of the day, listen, hopes, closing your eyes and giving the benefit of the doubt and relying and thinking maybe there's a misunderstanding and, geez, they wouldn't really do this, would me? I'm a good person. I don't deserve this. None of that's going to change it. None of that's going to stop them. Listen to what people are telling you with their words and their actions and believe them. Take them at their word. And when they show you and when they tell you that they have bad intentions towards you, listen to them and take action off those. When you don't have to repeat yourself, when you repeat yourself, you have weakness. When you do not have to repeat yourself, you have conviction. That's the opposite of weakness, is conviction. And conviction and strength and focus and determination, that is when people go, I'll go find somebody else. Because 99% of the world does not have conviction. 99% of the world does not have, they're filled with self-doubt, especially when it comes to aggression and violence and doubt. So I wanted to share this with you today. Repetition is a sign of weakness. Now, I said that in most areas of our life, you see people repeating themselves. People that want something or chasing some dream, they repeat themselves over and over and over instead of getting into action. I'm not going to go deep in this because I think you can draw your own parallels, but just understand that when you know what you can and can't do, when you know your actions, when you lay it out in front of you, and you just start one foot in front of the other, you start taking action. I don't care if you're talking weight loss. I don't care if you're talking business success. I don't care if you're talking life success or relationship success. Action is what gets results. And the beautiful part about this is you take an action. You don't ever have to worry about being right or wrong. Take an action with 100% commitment. And if you're wrong, you'll go, wow, that result wasn't what I wanted. And now you know that's not the way for you. Turn around instantaneously. Don't mourn a bad decision or a bad action or consequence from an action. Don't mourn it. Instead, rejoice the opportunity for the next action. You have just learned, and now you can take a new action, and that new action will progress you to a new result. But repetition, repeating is weakness. All right, everybody, listen, as usual, I hope you enjoyed this. That was a bit of a rant with that maybe, but I see this all the time. And trust me, I've done this. And I can feel the weakness in it. So control follows awareness. When we become aware of it, we can control it. Okay, so listen, I hope you enjoyed this. As always, please share this with somebody that you know that can benefit from this. That is the only way that we are going to change the effects of violence and aggression, is to share this. So I thank you. I'm so grateful to everybody that's been following us and giving us feedback and helping to share this. Share this, like this, rate this on iTunes, and that's it. So as always, please stay safe, stay ready, and remember, stepping off that X, it's only one step away. Want to awaken your protector within? If so, then head to awakentheprotectorwithin.ca and get your free Off the X training today.